Okay, so from how we help accelerate the growth of values-led ventures to how we can actually make sure that it's sustainable and valuable investment for you and your investors. And we kind of touched on investment in the last discussion with Jason, but my next guest is actually a very dear friend of mine. We actually met on a leadership coaching program earlier this year. Lisa Bennett is a founder of Workforce Millionnaire, and she helps her clients get their empowerment money story. So Lisa coaches people to have their money work for them so they can retire early and live out their wildest dreams. She's a self-taught investor for over 20 years and in the top 2% of wealth in the US. And she is using that wealth to help others. 30% of proceeds from Lisa's programs go to her favorite non-profit organizations, including Now is the Time, helping orphans in Guatemala, and the Coalition to End Human Trafficking. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Marika, how's it going? How's your summit going? You have a lovely group here.
We have a beautiful group in here. It's all going a bit too fast for me, to be honest, which is a good sign, I suppose. So thank you for being
good
here
energy.
And talking
of course.
all matters money. So money empowerment. What does that mean to you and most of your clients?
Money empowerment. Money empowerment to me is making money work for you so that you can do the powerful things you need to do in the world without stressing out and worrying about money all the time. So leading your value-led life and your value-led career, whatever that is, and having money work for you in the background.
Yeah, I love that. And I think, I posted earlier this week on social channels that a lot of heart-centered or values-led entrepreneurs that I come across anyway can sometimes have quite a negative mindset around money. You can still have good values and be rich, right?
Yes. Thank God, many rich people have really good values and make huge contributions in our communities and in the world. Yes, thank you, God. If that weren't so, it'd be a bit more like it'd be hard to have altruism going on the way it is today. But yeah, a lot of very wealthy people make huge contributions in the world. I came originally from Hewlett Packard, and there's the the Packard Foundation. There's the Monterey Aquarium, which was a gift from Dave Packard to his daughter, Julie, which is a beautiful venue to see the wildlife from the sea. There's, both Bill and Dave created huge foundations and made a huge contribution in the world before they passed, and their foundations live on. So yes, those were my first models as people who had really made it in the world. And they both had very strong values of good engineering. I mean, they were engineers. So good engineering, supporting the customer, believing in your customer comes first. And they also gave a tremendous amount to the United States and to the world. Yep.
Yeah, that's and that's the thing, I guess, with foundations and not-for-profits, but also purpose-led businesses that are really making a difference in the world. It's the legacy, right? You can leave such a huge legacy that lives on long after you do.
Yes. And I would like to think that we sleep better at night when we know we're doing good in the world and we're living up to our values. Yeah.
Well, I think for values-led people, that's essential. Yeah. So you talked to me before about different money archetypes, and that's what I really wanted to talk to you about today, because I think that would be really helpful for this audience to talk about the archetypes that might especially resonate with a values-led leader, a business owner, an entrepreneur who is very much purpose and values-led. What are those archetypes, and how can we leverage them to have a better mindset with money?
Yeah, everyone I work with, we first cover their money archetype and the things that you carry with you. So some things you carry with you are, of course, your history, your culture. You have the box that you live in. You have your personality type. You also have a money archetype. And in the US, at least, I don't know about everywhere else in the world, but you have your credit score. So we also talk about your credit score because many people are walking around the world with the credit score and don't understand how they got it or how to improve it, or even when it's employed. So you have a money archetype. You also have money stories that many of us have had since we were very young. And a man named Brent Kessel, who is a financial analyst in, I believe, San Francisco, and he is also a yogi, so he's got both sides of his brain working, wrote this wonderful book called It's Not About the Money. And in it, he describes the 8 major financial archetypes that he came up with after, I think, 20 years of being in the financial industry and working with people day in and day out, understanding that there are these 8 ways of being around money that are archetypal. And let's see if I can do them off the top of my head. There's a caretaker who tends to take care of other people or perhaps animals or nonprofits with their money. There is a star. The star is the person who tends to sort of advertise that they have money. They wear the labels. Their stuff all goes viral. Those are the stars. Let's see. Pleasure seeker is someone who gets money in and goes and spends it because I want pleasure today. So it's a very today thinking person. A guardian is someone who's very careful with money and guards it and believes that it could all fall apart. So there's a lot of anxiety around the guardian. The saver is another person who takes care of money and likes to watch it grow over time. Empire builder, I think we all have a really good example of an empire builder now, who would be Donald Trump. If you give him $1 million, he will build it larger. Whether you like Donald Trump or not, he has that archetype. He does. And I would say he was not a values-driven entrepreneur, but he can take $1 million and build it into something bigger. And that's what drives him, is a legacy and something larger. Let's see, how many have I covered? There is an innocent. Okay, there's an innocent, and the innocent, I find a lot of these in the sort of spiritual trades or the caretaking trades. As an innocent, when I ask about money, they say, it comes in and it goes out. It just seems to work. It comes in and it goes out. That's their whole picture of money. The innocent is not focused on it at all and is not sure how the wheels move around money. And the last one would be, let me think, empire builder, innocent, the idealist. The idealist believes money should only be used for good, only very strong values behind money. In a way, believes money is dirty, that there is sort of a bad reputation behind money. And they tend to want to build something more spiritual or more values led in the world and not have money be a driver. So there you go. So of the people in your audience, who do you think you have represented here?
Wow, that's what I was going to ask them. Drop in the chat which archetype you think resonates.
Okay, Amelie is an idealist. Tanya is a caretaker or idealist. Innocent, guardian, saver. Okay. Idealist mostly. Innocents and idealists, caretakers.
Couple of caretakers.
Oh, by the way, there's no shame, blame, good or bad around any of these archetypes. We actually need all of these archetypes in the world. If they were all like me, it would be a disaster. I am a saver. In fact, I am not a good person to partner with another saver because no one would spend the money. We could both save. We would be aiming toward this big goal. Woohoo! And no one would be spending the money. So each archetype has its pluses and minuses, and it's important to understand that. So yeah, okay, we have I haven't seen any empire builders yet. Caretakers, savers, innocents, guardians, idealists.
Nobody wants to be associated with Trump. That's why.
And no one's a star and no one's a pleasure seeker. Okay, I'm getting it. Okay. I thought this and thought of you because it was so cheap. Ooh, Susie. That's harsh to hear from your mother, isn't it? Wow. Yes, we all have money stories. I love to cover that in my workshops as well, because you discover a lot about yourself when you uncover your money stories. A big one that was in my family was money will burn a hole in your pocket. So she never encouraged us to have cash in our pockets because she said we'd go out and blow it on something insignificant. So there was no extra money in our family when I was growing up. We were actually on public assistance when I was a teenager. I got free lunches at school. I had to work just to get my bike to ride to school. And so this burn a hole in your pocket thing, I discovered when I was in my 30s. I went out with a guy one night who had just come back from a business trip, and he had a money clip. And he had hundreds in his money clip. He had just come back from a business trip, and he had this wad of cash. And I had this big scratchy feeling around the fact that he was carrying around all this cash. And I felt like saying, it's going to burn a hole in your pocket. It's like, oh my God, I've got to get past this money story. So carrying money for me.
So that's how you became a saver then, obviously.
I've been a saver since I was at the very least 12 years old. I actually remember the day I was watching my mother balance her budget on the back of an envelope that a bill had come in. And this I now know to be a cash flow statement. And it showed the money that she knew was coming in, her child support, her income, and the money that was going out, all of her obligations. And at the bottom, it tied down to $5. Now, $5 went farther back when I was 12 years old. But my head went to, what if I have a cavity? What if one of the tires goes bad on the car? Because she always bought retreads. It felt like they were always falling apart. What if one of us has to go to the doctor? So at the age of 12, I was running risk analysis on my mother's budget, right? And there was no buffer. I said, I am going to be financially independent one day. And I did not know what that meant, Marika. I had heard it in movies and I had heard the word millionaire in movies, but I didn't know what financially independent meant. But that was such a strong value for me that I manifested it by the time I was 42. And it was just by paying attention to how the money could grow. So for all of you who are guardians, there is anxiety around the money, feeling that it could fall apart. There have definitely been times when it feels like it could all fall. I mean, when we all went under restrictions, shelter in place, a year and a half ago, didn't it feel like it could all fall apart? The US economy almost went belly up by the first week of May. We were almost at deflation. That's a really bad place to be. We had 0.3% inflation in I think it's the second week in May. That's dangerous. That means your money is worth more tomorrow than it is today. This is what happened in countries like, isn't it Argentina, where they would throng the banks and each day they would be exchanging money because their money is worth more tomorrow than it is today. Yeah, very dangerous. Yeah. So some days it feels like it could all fall apart, or the stock market has this big drop, big news, right? Big drop, big news. Or people are leaving their houses in whatever state you happen to have a house in, right? Or there have been fires in California. There's been over 4 million acres burned last year. And a lot of people lost their homes. Like, it feels like it could all fall apart. That's the overarching feeling of being a guardian. And so who's a good person then to pair with a guardian? Someone who is fearful around money. How about an innocent? How about a pleasure seeker? Someone who has very different attitude around money. Okay, a saver. So again, I'm a saver.
So yes. These are like, potential partnership opportunities, right? If you are these people to partner with someone, or outside of work relationship, or
your business partner, your strong relationship. Yes. So in my family, we have 4 kids. My sister's a pleasure seeker. I'm a saver. My brother's a guardian, and my other brother would be an empire builder. If he actually had the capacity to build, he would be an empire builder. Those are four very
We do have one empire
different
builder. I see you, Leanne.
Aha. Okay. Four very different archetypes from one family. We were all raised pretty much the same. Where did our empire builder go? I don't see. Oh, Leanne. Leanne. So Leanne, where is she? So Leanne, you have this feeling that if someone were to give you $100,000, you could double it by the end of the year, something like that, right? This feeling of strength in making the numbers bigger and better. Where is she? Is she on? I can't see people. There she is.
That's okay.
Waving.
She may not want.
Can you unmute her? Can we unmute her? No?
Hi, Lisa.
We can't talk to her.
Hi,
There
Lisa.
she is. Hi, Leanne. So how long have you had this feeling that you could make money get bigger?
Since I've been doing the work that I'm doing, working in collective impact, changing the systems, so impact investment off feast. So a different approach to the collective, harnessing the power of the collective to achieve our common aspirations, our common goals.
Okay. So how long has that been? Not since you were a child, it sounds like.
No, about 2006. I think we had an upbringing similar to your own. And so we saw Mum as a very good provider. But money wasn't, she knew how to survive, but not how to thrive. But our grandfather was a supporter, provider. So right up to now, we're still the beneficiaries of that legacy. So how to use that to help others and how to help us help each other better.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, it's lovely talking to you. Yeah, our stories in my family included you always have enough to give to others. My mother always put money in the plate at church. I don't know where she got it. And we always took clothes after we had outgrown them. After 4 kids had outgrown the clothes, we would take the clothes and bundle them up and give them away to people who were needy in the church or to the Goodwill. Goodwill was a really good organization back then. Let's see.
Beautiful. So Lisa, are you, just a quick question from me on all of this, because I would say I used to be an idealist, but I'm now more probably a caretaker. If you have that archetype, can you change it?
Chances are good your archetype does not change. There would have to be, just like your personality type, there would have to be a major upheaval in your life. I have seen it happen with death and with, death of a loved one, or, just a huge ideological shift based on some giant change in your life. But mostly people remain the same all their lives. Right. So just like you can flex into other personalities, yeah, you work with it and you can flex into other personality types. And I get to work with an empire builder to flex into taking what I have saved and turning it into an empire that I value. Got it. So I know that it's going to take me working with someone who's good at that. Just like, let's see, what are you now? You are a guardian, a caretaker now, you said.
I think a caretaker. Yeah, I think so. I mean,
so you're taking care.
You probably have a dominant one and then there's some others, right? But,
yes, right. Yeah. There's like a major and a minor. That's right.
Yeah.
So caretakers tend to think of other people first, and many of them donate to many nonprofits. Like the nonprofits all know where they are and they send them all their solicitations for money. And they spend a lot of time and or money on other people and other causes. And the important thing is to just have a plan if you're a caretaker, because you also get to think about yourself. It's like the airplane, right? You get to put oxygen on yourself before you put the oxygen on the babies. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Common themes in my life.
And someone who's an innocent, who doesn't want to look at the money, or even an idealist who really feels like money is a bit dirty, make sure all your money transactions are automatic as much as possible. My mortgages are paid automatically. My insurance is paid automatically. Almost everything I write, I think, 1 check a month. So I don't have to touch money a whole lot. And I'm not an idealist. I'm a saver, but I don't actually like to work with it. I want it to work for me. So I have lined up almost everything in my life to happen automatically. And actually I can get, it can be a monkey wrench in the works when someone changes the payments. I discovered 2 of my mortgage payments changed lately, and I called them up. I go, what's going on, you guys? This is a fixed rate mortgage. What's happening? And they go, oh, well, your taxes changed. Oh, okay, we can deal with this. So I like things to just happen automatically so I don't have to touch them. And an innocent would really love to do that. An innocent would love to have their budgeting happen pretty automatically. So your budgeting would happen at a high level if you're an innocent. And you would have your bill
here smirking. maybe there's some innocent in me too. I'm like, oh, you gave me your invoice, just pay yourself. I don't
okay.
Either. So, hey Lisa, we are out of time. Can you believe again already? So thank you so much. That was really fun and
it's
and really, insightful for people to see what those different archetypes are. But I guess the key message here is just because your values lead doesn't mean money is dirty. In my mind, money is only dirty if you are. So nobody in here is dirty.
Energy. Money's just energy. Money's energy.
Yeah.
So if anyone would like my money archetypes survey, just send me email, lisa@workforcemillionaire.com. I'm happy to send it to you. It's 2 pages. It's really fun to do with a partner. If you have a partner in your life, to find out who both of you are, it's really nice to know how you're partnered. And also anyone who comes here I am happy to give you a half-hour laser coaching session on the money topic of your choice. I do not give stock picks to anybody. I'm not eligible to do that. But that can be done through my Calendly.
So generous. Thanks, Lisa. Ashley has put the links in the chat.
Okay.
So pick up the archetypes and go through it in a bit more detail and see if you were right, if your first pick was right.
There you go.
Thanks, Lisa. Thanks so much.
Welcome. It was fun. Bye, you guys.